Hi, everyone. Mitch from PickDawgz. It is Sunday, September 22nd, 2019, week 3 of the NFL season. Still trying to find our way through. I got Steve Monahan with us after last week's stellar performance here in the NFL. College football, I think we agreed on a bunch. We disagreed on a bunch. Just, I think when you cover 70 games, tough to win them all. So
certainly is.
So we'll see how we'll see if Steve could follow up last week's massive performance in the NFL, where he kind of just wiped the floor with things, and see if he can carry on. I think maybe 1 or 2 games he missed total on the whole card. I know. I hate it when people point out my losers, especially when I always have a ton of winners. So I know one of them was the Seattle game, but I don't remember what the other ones were. I think it was the same ones that we all lost. So it doesn't really matter. We're gonna get back on
the company sometimes, right, buddy?
Yeah, that happens. That's anyone that wins them all. That's our competitors, and I would say most of those guys not telling the truth. Anyone that says they win, 70% of the time, any of those things, rarely telling the truth. But everyone that's joining us, good morning. I don't see any comments, so there we go.
Hey, yep, here we go.
Yep.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning,
Antonio,
everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
Not sure if the notifications are going out yet on YouTube or not. So usually, sometimes they go out, sometimes they don't. They don't, well, then we have a little sparser crowd. If they do, then it's usually full tilt. Looks like they're going out late. Good morning.
Hi, everyone. This is Mitch, and welcome to PickDawgz. This is phase 1.
Trying to get to the YouTube channel, see what's going on. Looks like it's a little bit behind. Yep.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning. Yep. We don't look back. We only look forward. Thankfully, not one of my best bets. Steve and I were just talking about that game before the show started.
Yeah.
Basically, I kind of had that eerie feeling about that game. Just the way that the card, the way that the card went yesterday. I kind of laid low on that one. So, I didn't love it. Good morning to everyone joining us on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter Periscope. Yeah,
looks like the starting with the Pack and the Broncos.
Well, yeah, we're gonna just say hello to everybody, give everyone a chance to join us because the notifications didn't go out. But we'll get into the games in just a minute. I usually wait about 3 or 4 minutes, give everyone a chance to join us because it is a live show.
Right.
So people saying they did not get the YouTube. Yep, App State. We don't look back. We only look forward. Doesn't help us. I can tell you one thing. I'm 100% in games that I get to pick after the game is over. I don't really care about yesterday. I probably added about 20%, a little over 20% to my bankroll. I'll take it. Just gives me more to work with today as I roll forward. A few of those that Oklahoma State, really nice. Of course, that halftime show that we did during that Auburn game, we nailed Auburn money line for the game. We had that Central Florida where we teased it up for the second half. Took them at minus 9.5 points for the second half. Of course, they outscored Pitt by 10 in the second half. We got plus 160 on our money on that. So, it's all, for me, it's always all about value in betting. It's not necessarily about wins and losses. It's like if I could go 2 and 3 and my 2 wins pay me plus 400 or 500, to me, that's 5 and 2. It's
not any day. Wait, absolutely.
Simple math. It's like you got to win more than you lose. I always get a ton of questions about teasers. That's like one of the common questions I get. I always say when it comes to teasers, I'll just take the other side and the points and get the full payout. I mean, that's just what I do. It's like I don't tease games. I don't parlay much. But everyone's saying they didn't get the YouTube notification, but we're gonna get rolling with the picks anyway, and people can just join in later. I'll scroll back here in the comments. There was some people that couldn't wait the 5 minutes. They had to get out. Falcons against the Colts. I don't even know if this is the line. The last I saw this line was a pick 'em. Now it's up to 1.5. The Colts favor. Jacoby Brissett. This line's been all over the place. This game opened at 2.5 for the Colts, dropped down to a pick 'em. Now the Colts down to 1.5 point favorites. Steve, what are you looking at here in Indy?
Well, I like the fact that the Colts are home. I like the 1.5. Falcons coming off a short week, playing Monday night, going on the road. I like the Colts here at home. I like the points with the Colts.
I think what we have here, in my opinion, I like the Falcons in this one. I think the Falcons are a playoff team. I think they're a way better team than we saw last year. Last year they were a team that had a lot of injuries early in the season, and when teams have a lot of injuries early, it just upsets the whole thing. It's like everything that you game planned, everything that you schemed, all these coaches that you always hear about how they never sleep, all those things go out the window when you have injuries early in the season, major injuries. Like, what do you think's going on in Sean Payton's mind this week? You know, his whole Drew Brees game plan when he looked at this game, you know, in July, you know, and just started just opening up his notes on this game. It all went in the garbage. Meanwhile, you know, we look at this game. I say a healthy Ridley, a healthy Julio Jones. This Falcons team is going to be really, really tough to stop. We know that Matt Ryan gets, you know, it seems that he takes a lot more pressure than a lot of quarterbacks. He doesn't have the nimble feet, but he does have a power running game. I'm going to go with the Falcons here, plus the 1.5 on the road. I think they have a good shot. I know that inverse line movement here to Indy, so it might be a little bit of a sucker bet, but anyways. So Steve's on the Colts. I took the Falcons in this one.
I just saw an interesting stat. The Falcons are 2-14 all time against the Colts.
Yeah,
and
when's the last time they played them?
History, but little things like that.
So you're saying that Steve Bartkowski and these aren't teams that play like every other day.
Like this was the middle linebacker.
You know, Johnny Unitas beat whatever. It's like these teams. The last time these two teams played was 2015, then 2011, 2007, 2003, 2001, 98, 89, 86. You're going that way back.
Bearing, I get it, but those interesting stats people look at.
But you're going back 16 games, 9 games back. I'm in 1974 when Indy took out Atlanta 17-7. That's pre-Bartkowski. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. And then before that,
stadium in the rain, you know.
Before that, 13-6 in 1969. Don Shula was the coach of the Colts back then. So I don't know. I like trends, maybe a little bit more in baseball, maybe more in divisional games, but you know, I can't go back to because we're talking 1950s, you know.
I agree. I agree. I'm just throwing that out there. It's
I mean, I love John Facenda as much as the next guy. Legion leading against the Colts, and it's like they're in freaking Baltimore back then.
Lehman Bennett was the coach of the Falcons back in the day, right?
Let's go to Green Bay. It's pouring rain.
Let's go.
Pouring rain in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The Pack -7. We got to look at this. See, people say my voice inflection kind of leads people on the show. Look at this. Small P on the Packers, capital B on the Broncos on the question here. Which way is Ray leaning in this one? I'll tell you, I like Aaron Rodgers. I don't give a crap. I know that the Broncos are going to probably be sick in that pass rush, but I'll tell you, I don't like the way Joe Flacco looks. I don't like the way Sanders looks so far this season, and I certainly don't like that Deshaun, whatever his name is, from Penn State. I don't like his hands or lack of hands. I don't like the way the Broncos are playing, and the pass rush has not been nearly as effective as it was built to be. You got a guy that makes $150 zillion. He better be in the quarterback's face on every single play, and I don't see Von Miller doing that. Mr. Wizinator, I see is the I like the Packers in this one. It's a big number, especially in the rain.
I agree. I like the Pack. To your points on the Broncos, they're not looking well. Flacco, I think, has jumped the shark. Like you said, the pass rush really hasn't been there for the Broncos. I don't care about the elements today, rain, shine, whatever it is. You got Aaron Rodgers, the Packer home. I like the Pack. I'm taking the Pack. Keep
rolling right along. Another bad weather game. we head to Arrowhead Stadium, where Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs Hill out for this one still against the Ravens. Lamar Jackson and the bruising running game, the addition of Mark Ingram. I mean, you talk about a fit like a glove, a guy who was like fits right in.
It does.
Mark Ingram.
It's raining there. I just saw. I think they just took the tarp
horrible
off.
weather. Horrible weather. Supposed to be
weather.
a downpour until at least 2 p.m.
Right.
You know how that affects things. I generally, when I see bad weather, I think it really affects the defense more than it affects the offense, because the offense, the guys kind of know where they're going. The defense, it's more a reactionary thing. This is my reactionary hand signal right there, and I just think that Arrowhead, regardless, wind, rain, cold, whatever, very, very, very tough building. I know the Ravens are tough. I know that they have a bad attitude and all that kind of stuff, in a good way, right? The bad attitude in a good way, all that stuff. I just think the Chiefs have just a little bit too much. I just think that this is the type of game where it's probably hard fought. It's probably a lot more physical than people expect, because when they see Chiefs these days, it's kind of that Andy Reid dink and dunk to the little guy, Brian Westbrook, right? Whatever, Brian Westbrook things, that type of game. But this game's going to be a lot more physical than what people expect. But usually in those physical war games, what usually happens with the Ravens is the bad call. And Arrowhead Stadium's a good place for a bad call. And the poster boy for the NFL this year, Patrick Mahomes, the call's not going to go against him. I'm going to take the Chiefs here minus 5.5. I am not betting this game. Steve?
No, I wouldn't bet it either. Again, with the elements, I think that kind of favors Lamar Jackson with his running ability. So I wouldn't expect him to be very accurate today throwing the ball, even though he's, been throwing pretty well the first couple weeks. I'll take Mahomes and the Chiefs. I'm with you. I like them at home. The bad calls, the weather, it doesn't matter. I think the Chiefs have a little bit too much. The Ravens going on the road. And I'll take the Chiefs here.
Yeah, I think, the reason why I'm staying away from this game is that 5.5 points. When you got a kicker that can kick it 95 yards, in a rainstorm, you always have a puncher's chance in a game where maybe there's not as many points as you figure because of the weather. But I think we have an interesting game. New England minus 21.5 against the New York Jets. Steve?
Well, I went out on a limb last week with the big Pat spread, and I'm going to do it again this week. And the reason is Bill Belichick hates the New York Jets with such a passion, and the fact that Luke Falk's making his starting debut, third stringer, going to New England. I just think New England loves really sticking the shiv in the Jets anytime they can. The Jets really, all around, have been playing not good football. And with like I said, the incentive of New England, I know it's a big spread. I'm going to take the Pats, though. I think they're really going to put their foot on the throat.
All right, Steve, if you could tilt your camera just a drop, because the comments are coming through your face. There you go. Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Good.
It's beautiful. Anyways, you guys, anyone that's ever seen any of my shows, anyone that's ever seen any of my videos, they know in an NFL game, there's no way in hell I'll ever lay 21.5 points. The average margin of victory in an NFL game is 4 to 6 points. That is what it is. So when you're getting 21.5, you're basically getting 17 free points, 15 and a half to 17 and a half free points. And it's a divisional game. I know, it hasn't been a quiet week in New England. I think that the Jets always seem to get up for this one against them. And I know that, the Jets have had some quarterback issues, but having that full week of practice as opposed to the guy coming off of the bench, I know that it's not a full week because it was the Monday night game, but I think that I think we see a better Jets team, and I really liked the physicality of that Jets defense in that loss to the Browns. I mean, really, I came on in the second half, and it was one play and a missed tackle that blew our second half bet there on the Jets. I really like the way the Jets played, and I think you give them a week of practice with the starting unit, it makes a big difference. I think Le'Veon Bell actually playing better than I've ever seen him play. I know this guy, I've called him one of the most overrated players in whatever, but I'll tell you what, when his team needed him, he said, give me the ball and I'm going to carry it down the field. And really, the Jets were knocking on the door. He fumbled inside the 5-yard line. There was all these other things. So many things can happen in a football game. 21.5. I know Tom Brady's like Mr. Prick, and he'll drive in whatever points. Like in New England, it's like the old Notre Dame Army games in like the early 90s before Army got good and Navy, and Notre Dame would beat them by like 70, and like the Notre Dame fans would act like they just won the national championship, kind of like how the New England fans are these days. I think they get a dose of reality here. I'm going to take the Jets plus my 21.5 points, and I like my chances.
I a lot, and I reiterate my point. New England Belichick hates the Jets. I think there's incentive. And I think he hates him so much. I would take 17 points. I know your point, 6 points average victory. So I'm gonna go with the Pats again.
Bears Redskins over under 41. We got two pretty solid defenses in this game. We also have some offenses that have had some troubles. It seems that the Bears trading Howard not working out how they had hoped, and really the running game is really what's abandoned them there, leaving it on Trubisky, who everyone knows I don't like. And meanwhile the Redskins last week at Dallas, just nothing. They had straight nothing. Case Keenum, just not quite the quarterback that he was at Houston, because and we see this translate. We'll talk about the same thing. The guys who loft the ball down the field, Case Keenum is one of those guys, and I don't know. 41 seems to be a pretty low number for the NFL these days. I'll still take the under. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the under. The Bears' defense is playing well. They're third in the league, only allowing 12 points right now. Like you said, are they leaning on Trubisky? I think I like Trubisky a little bit more than you do. However, I like the Bears on the road. I'm going to go with the Bears in this game here.
Yep. Just a correction. Steve said that the Falcons are coming on a short week, but actually they played Sunday Night Football against the Eagles last week.
Correction.
Thanks, guys. Lions Eagles minus 4.5. Everyone knows I see Lions, I bet the other team. It's pretty much an automatic for me until they prove otherwise. I'm going to take the Eagles here. Not a team that I like. Not a team that I took the under 9.5 wins for the season. Everybody knows that. I criticize them at every chance I get. Hate Carson Wentz. I think he stinks. And, I think he gets a lot of help and plays on a short field. And, when he doesn't have the tight end security blanket, he's not so good. And, of course, Deshaun Jackson out for this game, the deep threat for the Eagles.
Yep.
I hate the Lions that much. I'm still taking the Eagles. As much as bad things I could say about the Eagles.
So I bought Lions stock based on your analysis, and I talked to my financial planner. Mm-hmm. So I mentioned the Lions and how I want to make some purchases on the Lions going forward to help me pay the bills like you do. Lions going into the Eagles, like you said, Deshaun Jackson is out. The Eagles are playing pretty good football, I would say, right now. Obviously, Carson Wentz is still healthy, but buyer beware there. He is an injury waiting to happen. That's probably going to happen in the next couple weeks. However, I'm going Eagles with you on this one. I just like the Eagles at home. Lions, I'm really, I took what you said about the Lions and processed this, and I think I'm with you when it comes to the Detroit Lions. You sold me there. So I like the Eagles here.
Yeah, until the Lions can win games, not even meaningful games. This is a team that gave up, a giant lead at Arizona in week 1. Now they go to Philly, which, these are the fans that booed Santa Claus. This is a tough crowd. So we'll don't know what this means. The Packers line is at 8. I still like them there. No idea what this means.
We got a little. I agree, but I think the fact that they're home, I just stick it to them.
This is how you don't format a question. This is how you do format the question. Don't do. Don't. I do this every single day. Don't. So, because if somebody tunes into this and they don't know the schedule and they don't know, the idea of it is that anybody who's just tuning in at this particular moment, even if they don't know the schedule, they see the question, they know exactly what we're talking about. So.
Yeah, so I'm going Eagles.
Yep. We stay away from parlays. It's kind of like I do parlays. I get the question all the time, do you do parlays, whatever. The only time I ever do parlays is when I've loaded up all my regular individual bets on the app, and like I'm in Vegas and I happen to walk through a sports book, which could happen, and I see an empty window. I walk up to the window and I'll just do like a 4 or 5 team first half parlay or something like that. And I've had tremendous luck with them because I don't do too many of them, and when I do them, I'm super selective. Broncos defense, good. We did this game. We did that one. Good morning to everyone. I know the YouTube notifications. Steelers plus 6.5 versus 49ers. I did a video on this one, so I'm not going to give my pick. Steve, who do you like in this one?
I actually like the 49ers at home. It's the Mason Rudolph basically debut. Everybody knows Roethlisberger is out. Pittsburgh probably going to go 0-3 traveling across the country. James Connors, even though he's playing, he's still a little banged up for my liking. Garoppolo has actually been playing well. I'm sure you're not a big fan of him. The Niners actually have a couple injuries, but I like the Niners here to cover, and I'm going to go with the Niners here.
Yeah, I gave out my pick already in this one, and I gave out my pick in this one already in the video, and for those of you that didn't see it, let's just say I took the Steelers on the money line. I think they beat the Niners outright in this game. You give Mason Rudolph a week of practice, it's a lot different. It's a lot different than a guy coming off the bench cold. You're also talking about a San Francisco 49ers team that's okay, and you're talking about a Steelers team that has a ferocious defense at only getting better with Minkah Fitzpatrick, and that's where they were really hurting, was in that secondary. And I expect to see the Steelers come out and play with purpose. I think that Watt on the Steelers defensive line, so underrated, and then you have overrated on the 49ers with Bosa. Oh my God, I could see this as a statement game for the Steelers saying we're not going anywhere.
But until the Steelers can fix their offense, listen, I hate mentioning Antonio Brown in any way, shape, or form. But the fact that Juju Smith-Schuster is their number one target, he hasn't done nothing so far. Now you got this Mason Rudolph coming in on the road. Listen, your point, I think the Minkah Fitzpatrick trade, I wholeheartedly think that's a great trade, giving up a first-round pick. But the Steelers' defense aside, their offensive problems is where I see that San Francisco home. Until I'm proven otherwise, the Steelers' offense is really not performing well at all. Hence their 0-2 start, and I think they'll go 0-3 for the first time in probably at least 10 years would be my guess.
Well, those of you that are watching us, please subscribe to our channel, and please hit the like button. I know it doesn't cost you a dime, but it helps us a ton. Of course, we're new. This is only our second week out on YouTube. So every subscriber, every like, every little thing, it helps a ton. Of course, I don't even have a website up. We're not charging for anything. We're not bombing you with commercials. All I'm asking for is some likes, and join our Facebook group where I think our Facebook group, this one, is better than any other Facebook group I've ever done, and it's also obviously the most active. We have at least one post a minute in our Facebook group. It is more active than the ones with like 35, 40,000 members. We're up to like 1,400 members in like a week. So we're going to have thousands and thousands and thousands. It's going to be tougher to control, but still, the post a minute and lots of good conversation, lots of arguing. And by all means, please follow the rules, man, or else it's chaos. Anyways, we got to go to Tampa Bay. The Giants, Daniel Jones making his first start against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's got a little bit of a safety net there with a solid running back in Saquon Barkley. Steve, what do you think?
Well, again, folks, I'll say it again. I live in North Jersey, intimately familiar with the Giants. It's the kid's debut. A little sooner than I thought. I thought Eli would probably have at least one more week, but he doesn't. So let's talk what's going on today. The Bucs home. I hate Jameis Winston more than maybe Cam Newton, if that's possible. However, if we're going to go, the spread is, 6.5 right now. The kid is coming in. I mean, the kid was lights out in preseason. I don't put much stock in that. Now you're facing an NFL defense. Todd Bowles is the defensive coordinator for the Bucs, who's a good defensive mind. The Giants, their defense has really been awful. So I'm going to have to go with the Bucs here. Jameis Winston aside, I'm going to have to take the Bucs winning by a touchdown. Because it's the rookie debut for Daniel Jones, I cannot in good conscience think that he's going to be lights out today. I think it's a welcome to the NFL party for him. So we'll see how that goes. I like the Bucs.
I'm going to take the Bucs as well. I don't like Jones at all. I think when we saw him in college and he went up against the stiffer competition, the Clemsons, the Miamis, the speed defenses, the NFL-style defenses, he was really bad. I mean, not even okay. Not even he had this. No, it was straight.
Like
straight
I said,
no.
Top is going to key on Saquon Barkley stopping the rush. So he'll take his chances with his rookie quarterback in his debut.
Yeah,
so,
I'll take my chances with those tall Tampa Bay wide receivers and Bruce Arians calling the shots. That's for damn sure.
Exactly.
Cowboys versus Dolphins, you got an inverted line in this one. It's actually the other way around. It's the Cowboys minus 23.5. Well, one thing we know for sure, and that is if you want to get the first overall draft choice in the NFL draft, Josh Rosen has already accomplished that. He's already led a team to the first overall draft choice, so he is your guy. He's your guy. The issue here is the points, and it's 21.5 is what I'm seeing, not 23.5, and it's Cowboys minus 21.5, not Dolphins minus 21.5. Cowboys looking good, running the football, throwing the football, playing defense. My Super Bowl pick, Dallas Cowboys, still intact health-wise. Of course, a lot of people had the Saints, and probably not looking as good on that one. The Rams, a lot of people's other pick, hard to get back as a loser in the Super Bowl, back to the Super Bowl. Doesn't usually happen the same year. Usually it takes another year till they get back the following year. I still like the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl. I don't know about the 21.5 points, even with Josh Rosen in there. Steve, I know you love Dallas.
Listen, I'm a Cowboy fan, always have been. See Roger Staubach in the background. I'm not worthy, Roger. But 21.5 points, I think is too much, even though I took the Pats, like I said earlier, with a lot of points. I just think that's too many points. I think the Cowboys are going to win. I don't think they'll cover here. As bad as Miami has been, again, Rosen, I wholeheartedly agree with your points there. It's a lot of points. The Cowboys are going to rush the ball. I think Zeke will have a lot of yards today, so ball control. And I think I'm going to take the Dolphins on this. I like the Cowboys to win, but not to cover the points.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to lay the big number here. I'm going to take the Cowboys. This is the worst Dolphins team I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of bad Dolphins. This is worse than the John Stofa Dolphins. This is about as bad as it gets, and this Dolphins team is really, really. This is a bad team, and I understand you got to break them down to build them up, but I think that the building back up is going to happen around week 11, 12, 13, 14. That's generally when the building back up happens of these really bad teams in the NFL. 14, 15, 16, they start covering spreads and winning games. Josh Rosen, is really, really good at throwing the ball to the other team. He's really, really good at it, and he's really, really good at it. It's like it'll be like a Cowboys 17-point lead or whatever, and then Josh Rosen will throw it. Not just like, it's going to be like that Jalen Smith, the linebacker. He's got to say, "Oh, there's a linebacker that runs a 4.8, 4.6 40." Like we haven't seen that for the last 15 years. And they'll act like you have to hear his life story about the broken leg and everything all over again. But that's when we change the sound of the game, is when that stuff starts happening, because I can't even listen to it. It was kind of like when they started talking about Book's comments before the Notre Dame Georgia. I mean, just change. Are you demanding that I change the channel? It's like, we're gonna play hard. No shit, no shit. It's like, why am I watching this? I got Oklahoma State, Texas on the upper corner with the sound off to listen to this. It's like, we're going back to Austin. Anyways, Arizona Cardinals.
We have a comment from Charles Parham. Worse than the Cookie Gilchrist days. Love that. Good reference, Cookie Gilchrist.
There you go. We got keep rolling right along here. Games rain versus taking. I have no idea what that means, Dr. Bob. Brad Hansen, break down the Rams-Browns game. We got to do it in the form of a question with the point spread. Not hard. Cardinals -2.5 versus the Panthers.
I like the Cardinals. Newton is out. Panthers haven't been playing well. I know. They're home. I just think there's dissension down there in Carolina. And I listen, the Cards stink, don't get me wrong. Miami is probably getting the first pick overall. The Cards absolutely will be there. I think the Panthers are not playing well. I'll take the Cards, though, with the 2.5 here. I'm going to go with the Cards here.
Love, triple love, money line, outright, reverse pleaser, everything, Panthers. This is about as easy as it gets. Christian McCaffrey, I think he's going to run for about 700 yards in this game, combined receiving and rushing. I think Luke Kuechly is going to drill Kyler Murray. Anytime that he decides to take one step in the wrong direction, he's going to get planted, and no one in the NFL hits harder than the Panthers. One of my strategies that I generally like to do, and I would have gone against Tampa had they not been playing the Giants and had a long week of rest, but the week after anyone plays the Panthers, you don't want to go anywhere near them because these guys know how to bruise you. Olsen healthy. It's like Cam's out, but it's like they've known this for a week, so Olsen, it's not Olsen like.
Olsen's banged up a little bit. I just saw that.
But he's going to play, and McCaffrey. There's no way in hell I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals and laying points. Just not even in my vocabulary, not in the repertoire. I've made a career out of betting against the Cardinals, and I will continue that career. I took them when Kurt Warner was there, like back in the day, with Bruce Arians. That's like when I first started, that was way back when I started college football place. And, I had Bruce Arians and Kurt Warner, but this is a far cry from that. This is Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. This is not going to happen.
I know the paper bag stuff here with the Cards. Don't get me wrong.
Speaking of paper bags, I don't know, man. Some people, they just can't seem to get the lines right on these games. I don't know what's going on. The Bengals are +6.5 in this game. Some reason Farrah Morgan Cook thinks the Bengals are laying 6. It's actually the other way around. It's the Bills -6.5 at home in Orchard Park. The Bills, the quiet 2-0 team, up against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 0-2. But that opening game in Seattle, they were tough.
I like the Bills at home here, no question. I think the Bengals. Zach Taylor, the new coach. I know they've been playing hard. I think the Bills, I've mentioned this on the show and even on my sports podcast, Sports with Mono and Mono, you can find on YouTube and SoundCloud. I like the Bills' defense here. I think they go 3-0 at home. They've been on the road, but, when they say they've been on the road, they've been down the New York Thruway, for the last 2 weeks. But I'm going to go with the Bills here, at least by a touchdown here. Although Devin Singletary on the Bills is out, their running back, who I like as he replaced McCoy. But I like Josh Allen. I like the Bills' defense here. Not a big Bengal guy, not in the slightest. So, what do you think?
I like the Bills as well. I just think I like Allen. I think he was the pick of that draft as far as quarterbacks go, and he's certainly living up to it. I like the pick at the time. I like it now. I think the Bills have made some interesting. The Bills are really good. What they've become good at is making the tough decisions. Cutting bait with LaShawn McCoy. It went back a couple years ago. Sammy Watkins. It's like if they cut bait. It's like if it's not working out for them, then they at least are willing to try a new direction. And I think you have to respect that.
Their ownership is not, to your point,
if you can, like that. I always believe that if you can go 500 on the road in the NFL, you have a really, really good shot of making the playoffs. And the Bills 2-0 on the road to start the season. They only got 6 more road games left. So if they can go 2-4 in the remaining 6 road games, one of them is going to be at Miami, right? So if they can go 2-4 in those remaining road games, they're there. Say you go 6-2. At home you got New England, so maybe even 5-3. You're in the discussion for at least a wild card, if not winning the division outright with the 2 road wins. I think you got to go with Buffalo here. And of course, those of you watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. Be sure to hit the like button. I see 165 people watching us on YouTube alone, and I see 60 likes. So 239 people watching the show live, which is awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you that have come out to support PickDawgz. Of course, I love having Steve Monahan. Last Sunday was his first day on the show, and we got a real positive response. So we're going to keep having him back until you guys tell me. So Steve's like, come on, work with me here.
People, I implore you, please. Shake here, people.
Steve will turn into one of these guys who on YouTube, Mitch sucks.
I hate him after 40 years old, son.
Arizona versus the Colts, 47.5 in this one. Atlanta versus the Colts, over under 47.5. I don't know. Dome teams in a dome stadium, whatever. I'm going to take over 47. I don't love it. How about you, Steve?
When I saw a comment, Steve, you want a week-to-week? No, I'm on a 10-day contract, basically.
Yes.
And Mitch has the right to either renew it or...
It's in baseball, they have it's the late season baseball call-up for football season.
I won't be on the playoff roster. I won't be on the baseball playoff roster.
Still playing for the league minimum. I like the over. 47.5. Atlanta against Colts.
Say, I'm having trouble hearing you. What?
Colts versus Falcons, over under 47.5.
I like the under there.
All right. I got the over. Move right along. Minnesota Vikings, the line up to 9 against the Raiders. I love the Vikings in this one. I think the Raiders are going to get absolutely tattooed. That Minnesota just such a tough building. We know that they always lay an egg in one of these home games. Last year it was against Buffalo. This year, I don't think it's this spot. I just think that at home, coming off of the loss to the Packers, the Raiders coming off of that loss to the Chiefs, I think we started to see some of the things here from Oakland, why we know they're probably going to be drafting high again. It's going to be a process. I'm going to take the Vikings here and lay the 9 points. This is one of my best bets of the day. Will be the Vikings.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a no-brainer. Dalvin Cook has been running up and down the field, so the running game, Minnesota at home, the Raiders, I think are going to implode, like you just said. It's going to be a long year for them. I like the Vikings at home with the crowd, and I think they got too much firepower. I really do. So I definitely like the Vikings here.
Morning to Alvin. We did this game. Steve, what do you think about parlays? I think it's sucker bet. I think it's hard enough to win one game, let alone 11, like we see some of the parlays in the group. And that's anyone that really bets, for serious, parlays are more like an afterthought, maybe here and there. I throw them in, but as far as my standard bets, I mean, I also play slot machines. I also take, if I'm walking through a Vegas casino, I'll also put $20 into a dollar slot machine and pull the handle.
I've seen you at the craps table too, Mitch.
Well,
I've seen you at the craps table too.
It happens. It could happen. It could happen. Tampa Bay minus 5.5 against the Giants. We did this game. Browns, Rams, over under 47.5. I think this is a really tough one. Steve, you got any thoughts on the total here? I have no call on this. I'm going to the penny, actually. Over.
You're going to go penny?
I'm going
I like
penny.
the over here. I like a lot of points being scored.
Well, I think no one there's a few quarterbacks in the NFL that hold on to the ball for way too long, and one of those guys is Baker Mayfield.
So I know where you're going with that.
So
there's no question.
Here's the over.
First penny.
There's the under. So it's our lucky penny. It's the same one that sits here on my computer. It's been sitting here since we started PickDawgz. We retired the old penny. The penny agrees with Steve. It's going to be an over. Coin flip goes over in the Rams Browns. 47.5.
I like the Rams to win this. I think the Rams are week 3. They're just starting to get their mojo, and they got a lot of firepower. And the Browns
did this one.
The Browns moved themselves, and I just don't think they can keep up with the Rams. So I'm going to go with the Rams too in points.
Here's an interesting game: Saints and Seahawks. Saints 5-point dogs in this one. You know, I always think when these two teams play, I just remember when the earth shook, Marshawn Lynch's run against the Saints. But, in this one, Seahawks are just a team, and I talked about this last week, and I talk about it every single week. I love the Seahawks. I'm a big Clappy fan. And, I just love the way that the Seahawks put together their roster where they don't care where you were drafted. They don't care if you were drafted at all. Everyone that comes to camp has the same chance of making the roster. And, they always have the most undrafted players on their roster of any team. And this is why they get guys, they win games like last week that people don't necessarily expect them to win. High motor, and you got to remember that the Steelers fought them right down to the wire in that game, right? Even though Roethlisberger was out, and Rudolph had no preparation whatsoever. But back to this game, the issue I have here is I don't understand why Teddy Bridgewater is starting over Taysom Hill. I just don't get it. I love me some Taysom Hill. I've been saying that for a very long time. And, his 19-year career at BYU, I said it every single week. I love me some Taysom Hill. And I say it with the Saints. There are certain players in the NFL that I just love the motor. Ryan Kerrigan is a Mitch guy. Taysom Hill is a Mitch guy. Zach Line is a Mitch guy. We have our Mitch guys. And these are, and Taysom Hill is one of his guys. Teddy Bridgewater is a lobber. He's a lobber. It's like, why would you have a guy, once again, like Baker Mayfield, hold on to the ball for he thinks he's got, the guy thinks he's like in a drive-in movie, trying to flag down the waitress. Hey, can I get a Pepsi? Hey, can you, popcorn? I forgot to throw in the hot dog. It's like, what is he doing back there? I think he's in trouble against the Seahawks pass rush. Ezekiel Ansah making his first start of the season as well.
Right. Well, to your points, I'm actually a Teddy guy. I like Teddy Bridgewater. As a back, that's what they have to go with. Obviously, people know.
Over Taysom Hill?
Listen, my point being is we'll see Taysom Hill in there. There's no question about it. But the fact is, the Saints are on the road playing at Seattle. Seattle's 2-0. I just looked up the last time they were 2-0, they were Super Bowl bound. So Clappy, Carroll at home. Listen, Russell Wilson is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. I trust him immensely. The Saints were out on the West Coast last week with the Ram game. I'm sure they didn't go back to New Orleans. I would imagine they went to go see Disneyland during the week. So all those factors in. Bridgewater's first start in a while. I like Seahawks home here.
Yeah, I think I'm a little worried about the points in this one. To be honest, it's not a best bet. It's a lead for me. It's more for me. I like Seattle to win the game. I'm not as convinced with the points, even with Teddy Bridgewater in there. And I just, like I said, I'm not Sean Payton. I know that. And I'm wrong sometimes. It happens. But I don't understand why Taysom Hill's not in there. I just love me some Taysom Hill. Anyways, keep rolling right along here.
You're going to see Taysom Hill in the game. There's no question about it. So
Taysom Hill deserves to be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Packers versus Browns, over under 41.5. I love the under 41 in this one.
I do.
The Broncos offense has done absolutely nothing, and I think this is a strong play. And plus, throw in some rain. It's only going to get worse. I see some soggy Packers jumping into the stands at Lambeau, but I still think it goes under. How about you, Steve?
No, I like the under because of the weather. I like the Pack in this game, and nothing really more to say. Yeah, there'll be a lot of wet Packers jumping into the stands today, that's for sure.
Here we go, Rams versus Browns. I think the Rams are actually -4 in this one. I think Steve already gave us.
I don't mean to cut you off. We have a question. Steve, did you say I like Seahawks? I do. I like the Seahawks, if you didn't hear that. So, yeah, to win this. And
so, once again, someone got the line wrong here. It's the other way around. It's the Rams -3.5 against the Browns. I like the Rams in this one. Steve already gave his opinion, but Steve already took the Rams earlier. But I'm going to take the Rams as well. I just like the Rams pass rush against Baker Mayfield, who holds on to the ball way too long. I think that the Rams defense, Aaron Donald, there's a reason why he makes the big bucks, and I think he's going to stuff Nick Chubb. I think they're going to have trouble running the football against the Rams. They're going to be forced to pass Baker Mayfield. He holds on to the ball forever. And I know Odell Beckham is, he's one of the best receivers in the game. I don't like, the antics, and I don't like thing. He's actually toned it down a lot, so it's a little bit more tolerable.
So glad he's out of my backyard in New York. I got to say that. Let him be clean.
I'm going to take the Rams I'm going to take the Rams -3.5 on the road at night. Generally not a great thing, but the Browns in prime time. Like I said, I just don't like quarterbacks that hold on to the ball that long. In this NFL, you got to get rid of the football. Whether you're throwing it to a receiver or throwing it out of bounds or doing something, the longer you hold on to the football, there's only two things that can happen. Or
and they're not good.
Three. None of them are good. One, you throw an interception.
Yep.
Two, you end up making a bad throw and you throw an interception. Number two, you get sacked. And number three, you get injured. Those are the only three things that could possibly happen. There's also actually the strip sack fumble, which is also, very, very popular these days too. I think all bad. If you hold on to the football and you're a quarterback in the NFL, only bad things can happen.
That's absolutely true.
We got a ton of people watching us here on YouTube. If you guys could subscribe to our channel, be sure to hit the like button. If you're watching it on your phone, you probably say, how do I hit the like button? You have to just shrink the comments. And then when you shrink the comments, you can hit the like button and then put the comments back up. That's how you do it.
All right.
Johnny Casey loves the show. So does Mitch. I think see, this is the type of stuff that I look at these questions and look at these comments. I say, I have no idea what you're talking about. Because it's like, I always say in the comments, you got to be super specific. Is this me? Do I shine and get my first W? I mean, I got no idea.
All right.
But I did switch, actually. I think today I'm going to get my first hole in one. I usually try and sneak in quick 9 holes.
For the record, I have a hole in one from 2006, man.
I've never had a hole in one. I actually just reshafted my driver to a new Fujikara shaft, same one I put on my 6-wood. And tell you what, I was at the range yesterday. I was hitting the cover off the ball. Chargers -3 against the Texans. This is a tough one. This is the type of game. I mean, Phillip Rivers, he's fully capable of blowing the cover in this game. I'm going to take the Texans plus the points. I don't know who wins this game, but this is a 2-3 point game to me. It could go either way, but I like just having those 3 points in my back pocket.
I like the Chargers here. Rivers actually career versus the Texans for whatever reason absolutely destroys them. So, obviously Phillip Rivers can, throw an egg, every 4 weeks, so to speak. I like the fact the Chargers are home. I don't like the Texans on the road. I'm going to go with the Chargers here.
Yeah, the last meeting of the Chargers and the Texans was 2016. Then before that, 2013, 2010. 2007, 2004. This is an every 3-year type arrangement they have going on, and they have not met in the postseason. So I know that the Chargers, you look at it, they've dominated this series. I don't think it means much, but you never know. We did this game. Daniel Jones is going to be a huge bust. I don't think anyone's expecting much from him. At least knowing the fix is in.
Right.
We did this one. Nope, Mitch did not. Someone I see once again. No idea. This is a tough one, because in the NFL, worst to first happens all the time. So leaving teams and joining teams, it doesn't really do much for me. Everyone that's been on a winning team plays on a losing team unless you're Tom Brady, But and to be honest with you, I think it's a lot more Belichick than Brady. I know I always say this, and I just think that, Bill Belichick has won with everybody at quarterback. He's won with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. He made Matt Castle a zillionaire, right, and who couldn't win anywhere else. He went to the Super Bowl with Jeff Hostetler. I think Bill Belichick could win with Steve Montana or myself as quarterback. I honestly think so. So
I like to think I was a better quarterback.
But that has nothing.
I had to start over you.
Rod's got the paper bag on. Of course, I'm a Dolphins season ticket holder, so it even gets worse. Brad still thinks the line's 4. We did this game. Love everyone that joins the show. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to hit the thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All these little things help. We got 182 people watching us on YouTube, 257 live viewers. Woo! Blowing the roof off the joint. That is, for a YouTube channel that's a week and a half old, that is massive numbers. Most people, if they get to 100 subscribers in 2 or 3 months, are excited. We always do things a little bigger and better than anybody else. I bring it every day.
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks to everybody. Without you guys, I'm just talking to Steve, which is fine, But
that's fine.
More fun.
We're gonna talk anyway.
More fun to talk with you guys. I'll give out my best bets at the end. Cards hung with Baltimore last week. They did. Vikings Raiders over 43. I don't know, Steve. I have no opinion on this one.
I would say I would like that. I would say the Vikings are probably going to lay at least 30 on the Raiders today. The Raiders probably get a couple garbage scores. I like the over there.
Yeah, I have no pick on that one.
I think the Vikings are going to really stick to them.
We'll do this again. Over, under. Oh, shoot. It landed on tails, but we'll flip it again because I didn't catch it. Dropped it again. It was tails again. That's what it is. I got under 43. Raiders, Vikings. I think we covered almost everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Take your time and post the correct info. You're taking valuable time from the show. I don't know what that means. No idea. Bills played. Yes, they absolutely did play garbage teams, but in the NFL, anyone that I say this all the time, okay? Anyone that makes an NFL roster can play. Anyone that makes an NFL roster can play football extremely well. More than likely, unless you played at Alabama or Clemson or some of these other elite college teams, you are one of the top 5 players on your college team to be in the NFL. And I know some of them, it might be Mississippi Valley State. You might be the best player in the last 10 years at Mississippi Valley State. Some of the other guys, you might be the 5th best player at USC, or Ohio State. But everyone in the NFL can play. In order to make those big games, in order to make the game against the Patriots a big game, in order to make the game against the Cowboys a big game, in order to make the game against the Seahawks a big game, you need to win those games. You need to beat the teams that you can beat, and if you can do it on the road, that's huge. I always think that it's a bigger advantage to play the garbage teams at home, because this way, you have a lot better chance of at least winning those games that you call the winnable games, the ones that you have to win. If you want to be competitive, you have to win these games. Like the Bills play Miami twice. If they want to make the playoffs, sweeping Miami, beating the Jets, and beating the Giants on the road. Now they have the Jets at home, right, as well. These are the ones you have to win. You're talking 5, 6 wins already. You're 4 wins away from double digits, which in most cases puts you in the NFL playoffs. So it's like, I don't, you can say what you want. Yes, that's nice. You should put your own picks, go in our Facebook group. Miami loves me and I love Miami. Kyrie needs to join our Facebook group. We did this game. Love having Steve. He sticks to his guns like you. Is an honest guy.
Thank you.
Bringing folks in like him. Okay. Keep Steve. We like him. Cousins beast against bad teams. He'd lose the big games like the nose picker in Michigan. Oh, boy. That was cold. We love Rod anyway. That was cold. After today, can't. Cars taking an Uber after today's game. Browns, Rams, we did this total already, of course. Morning, you guys. Better late than never. If you're joining us on YouTube, if you could hit the like button, it's greatly appreciated. Please subscribe to our channel. Every little bit helps. Coming to you commercial free, no charge.
Nice.
Every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, we have our football specials Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Steve joined us for the college show. We did it all in one fell swoop. It was an hour and a half. It was way too long. We got to split the show. If I have a dentist appointment or something like that from now on, we're going to do it on like we'll do it Tuesday, or we'll do like half the show in the morning and half the show at night or something. I cannot sit there for an hour and a half and do the show. I don't know how the guys on TV do it. Finally done with parlays. Listen to Mitch. Wow, my wife, the opposite. There's the opposite strategy of my wife. Good morning, everyone. Have a great day. Good to have you here, Steve. We did this game. Yeah, Steve did say like the Seahawks. Man, I'm way behind in the comments. Thank you guys for showing up. Without you guys, we're an empty YouTube channel. I see YouTube shows on a daily basis with 10 to 14 watchers. Actually, my old company that I used to work for, their YouTube show gets about 14 live viewers every day. We have 181 on YouTube, 256 overall, including Facebook and Periscope. Thanks to everybody that's joining us. If you're watching us on Periscope, Twitter, follow us on Twitter. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. If you're watching us on Facebook, like our page, join our group, join the fun. We did this game. What up, Miguel? Steve, who's your best bet today?
I like the Rams, actually, is my best bet. Going to Cleveland and laying wood there, scoring a lot of points. So I like the Rams.
Steve likes the Rams as his best bet. Mike just got a Fujikara shaft on his 3 hybrid. He actually loves it. I actually don't have a hybrid in my bag. I don't hit hybrids. I just go with the standard irons. I play, of course, I don't play those cavity back irons. I play muscle back blades. And yeah, the Fujikara shaft, I'm kind of like in between a stiff and I have stiff shafts on my irons and stiff shafts on most of my clubs. But with the driver, I used to like a regular shaft, ping counter. Like I was using the standard ping counterbalance here, which is the Alta shaft, and it was just a little bit too loose for me. So I like it tight, like my pants. I went with the I went with the Fujikara, just a drop stiffer, and I tell you, I'm hitting the ball extremely well. We did this game.
You gotta watch your handicap.
We did this game. Yeah, I do have to watch my handicap. I'll end up not getting as many strokes in my group. We did this game. Thank you, Mike. Thanks to all you guys. Have all done a great job. No baseball today from anybody. Go Jets, 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 Jets. Mitch, you should post pics of your golf course. I've never seen a Hawaiian golf course. Is it on the beach? Actually, the course that I play on Mondays, called Waiahu, has 3 holes that are directly, not just on the water, they are on the beach. 3 holes on the beach, and it's our public municipal course. It costs like $16 to play. Then I play at, you can Google Wailea Gold. That's my home course. The 8th hole is the most beautiful hole in the entire world. You can Google it though, Wailea Gold. And I've actually shown pictures of Facebook with me on that hole saying, if I ever get a hole in one, this is the hole I want it on. Wailea Gold number 8. It is just the most beautiful golf hole in the entire world. Palm trees surrounding the green, the Pacific Ocean, Molokini Crater. It is just amazing. And
you're gonna tell me that's nicer than the 6th hole at Paramus Golf Club on Route 17 in Paramus, New Jersey?
It's a skosh nicer, just a skosh. But yeah, maybe I'll do a video from the golf course one of these days. So why the Dolphins?
One other thing, we had a comment, Steve, do I like KC? I do.
Rob's saying that his comment was about the inaccurate lines that people are posting.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Those are for true, real, and I think that the scenario that I've been at least mapping out on the show. Steve's kind of like maybe not, but the scenario that I've been mapping out here is that the Bills are a playoff team, and that winning those 2 games on the road to start the season is the easiest way to catapult yourself into being a playoff team is winning games on the road. And it's like now you have 2 games against the Dolphins, you got a home game against the Jets. That's 5 wins right there. You win today.
Exactly.
That's 6.
You're
more than halfway home. You're
no
more
question.
than halfway home. If you can somehow split with New England, imagine that. You could win the division.
No, that's not happening.
It could happen.
No, it isn't.
You guys are the best. Josh Allen is my QB for fantasy. They think he'll do good against the Bengals. I don't play fantasy football. I did have a fantasy about football, and what happened was that Oklahoma State hit the touchdown for the backdoor cover last night. Getting 7, down by 13, score the meaningless touchdown to cover the spread. That is my football fantasy, and it happened yesterday. Also, Wyoming getting 4.5, loses by 3. These are my football fantasies when teams play just well enough to cover the spread. They don't need to win. They just do the little things. The little things. We've seen a lot of this season. Texas A&M against Clemson. That touchdown. I mean, we've seen a lot. Those are my favorite of all favorite wins. And I think what got me popular on the internet, way back in the day, was that that's my wheelhouse, is picking those games where the team is going to lose, but they still fall within the number, because those are the best wins. Those are the ones the ones where you think you lost, like Louisiana Tech the other night, where they go down, it looks like we've lost, where FIU has scored the touchdown, then FIU decides to try the onside kick, the scoop, runs it in for the touchdown, for the cover. We're cashing. It's the same thing that it's almost like they won by 100, but it's better because we thought we lost and now we won. It's like these are the ones that we all remember, and this is what's so much fun in our Facebook group is we do the group hug and high fives and and everything all together. This is why I do what I do. I know a lot of guys out here, it's for the money. They'll sit here talking about you gotta buy my package, you gotta do this stuff. I do this stuff, and Steve has known me for
forever,
35, 40 years, and he can tell you I'm as excited about football today and Jeopardy as I was then. Just as excited.
Yep.
I get just as excited, and it's like back then the world would stop, when football was on for me. And people say, how does your wife let you watch so much football, whatever? Because I wouldn't marry someone that wouldn't, that wouldn't let me do that. Steve and I, we used to watch the NFL draft before it was a big deal. Back when it was a very, very, very small deal, and it was on ESPN, and people that we knew would try and watch it with us, and they're just like, how do you guys sit here and watch this crap, And now it's like this big event, but back then it was like this.
Our first draft together for everybody was the Marino Elway.
It was 16 rounds back then, the NFL draft. Yeah. So Mr. Irrelevant was really irrelevant. Now Mr. Irrelevant, is a 7th round draft choice.
It's a parade down his hometown or something. So.
Michael Kelly in the Vegas airport, hopefully arriving. Steve did take the Chiefs.
I did.
My handicap is about a 10. You guys know I stopped playing golf for 25 years. I've only been playing the last 4 months. So I'm about a 10. About a 10-2 was the last gin that I got from golf. This time I'll probably be about a 9-4. I had a big week. playing, and I figured out a few things, and super excited. It's nice when you stop playing and you start playing again. It's kind of almost like when you first start playing and you have these breakthrough moments. You know, when you're playing and you're kind of, you know, you've hit that level, you have good days, bad days, and you still are tinkering with things. But when you're a beginner at something, just like with surfing, you know, you have that breakthrough moment, and all of a sudden you're walking out on the nose and, you know, riding the big bombs like I'm going to be after the show before NFL, because we got a massive swell here in Maui. Massive. Hopefully you guys saw the picture of me on Facebook that I posted. Riding on the wave, I was backwards. I don't know if you could really see that. I'm just acting like an idiot, standing backwards on my paddleboard. But I'll be out in the surf this morning. If anyone is in South Maui, welcome to join the Dawn Patrol. Anyways, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Yep, I love blades. I can't stand the cavity backs because I don't like the offset. And also, to me, it's like when I hit a bad shot, I don't want it to correct and go really far in the wrong direction. Because most of my shots don't happen from bad contact. Most of my shots happen because I'm not aligned correctly. What about the Cubbies? No idea. You got to tell them Team A versus Team B with the point spread. Blue Jays, Yankees, over 10. I've been on the Jays this series, handing out winners. I know not popular, but it was popular with the results. Steve, any thoughts here on your Bronx Bombers up against the Toronto Blue Jays in today's matchup? How's the weather out there?
The weather couldn't be any better, folks. It's definitely like 85, sunny. Yankees obviously have just clinched the other night. So we got a lot of injuries. We got a nurse. I would go with the Blue Jays. I can see the Yankees just taking a respite for another week, get everybody healthy.
Well, this one's on the total. This pick's on the total. The issue that I have here, and I would have gone. I probably would have gone with the under here because it is Severino. But Severino, I mean, how far is he going to go here? We saw him. He went 4 innings. He was brilliant. 2 hits, no runs.
Innings. They can't take any chances with him. They got to ease him in. This is the formula. That's why they didn't make that big pitching trade at the deadline. So I just think they'll ease him in. The Yankees, listen, they can hit 5 home runs on any given day, even with their subs in there, with Urshela or Torres or anybody, Mike Ford, all these Tachman, all these guys. I like the over here. I think a lot of runs because of the weather today.
I don't know. I think this is a really tough game. You know, Trent Thornton is kind of like my Teddy Bridgewater. It's like, here's a guy that throws 65 miles an hour on his hard stuff. You know, I just don't like those lobbers, and especially against the Yankees in the Bronx. But the Yankees, have not been playing their best baseball recently. They've been on the win one, lose one.
They always hit a lot of home runs, and especially on a day like today. To your point, though, Severino, I think, will pitch well again and shut the Blue Jays down, at least for 4 innings. I don't see him going more than that. But I see, the Blue Jays have a lot of good young talent, man, with all these ex-major leagues.
They're headed in the right direction.
Guerrero, Oberschat, and on and on.
They're headed in the right direction.
They have the ability to hit it out.
They're headed in the right direction. Last time Thornton faced the Yankees, only allowed 1 run in that game, 1-0 loss to knock out, dueled them. Let's see. Keep rolling right along. No idea on that one. Got to give this thing. Yep, Louisiana Tech was awesome. I think he's talking about me picking the games where the team loses but still covers the spread, which is, I love it. I love it when people, it's kind of like, you're the anti-fan. It's like, I'm not big on the fans, when I'm in the sports book and I'm betting and I'm serious about it. And it's like, I always have fun with it. And, but the thing is, I play to win. And I'm not a big fan of the fans, of sports. I am a fan. I'm a huge fan myself. But when it comes to my betting, the team I bet on, that's the team I'm a fan of. Yep, we all had La Tech. Steve, me, and you all had it. Mitch loves the Cubbies. Yeah, I think that's a joke. I don't have my best bets prepared on the screen, but I did write them out, and I'll tell you what they are. Chargers-Houston game. I think we did this one.
Yep.
Onside kick. Cardinals plus 147 against the Cubs. I'm not even going to look. I like the Cardinals. I bet against the Cubs every single game, and it's a very, very rare day that I take the Cubs. And with you garbage on the mound against Mikolas, I'm going to take the Cardinals. The Cardinals red hot, and they hate the Cubs, and their fans hate the Cubs. And I got to say,
well,
I'm going with the Cardinals here, plus 146. Good value.
Can't dispute that.
I'll give out my best bets in just a second. Okay. My wife is out with Sam, the dog. So, my best bets today. Steve said his best bets was the Rams. My best bets today are, I don't know where my sheet is, but it was the Vikings, the Eagles. I like Vikings, Eagles.
The Vikings as the best bet with the Rams.
Buccaneers, Panthers, and Rams. So there you have it. Anyways, recapping today's show, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the thumbs up. An hour and 10 minutes on NFL Sunday. Nobody else brings it bigger and better than us. It's 6 a.m. here in Maui. The sun just coming up. Of course, I've been on since before 5 a.m. I got on at 4:50 a.m. my time. We thank Steve Monahan for giving us his time and his picks. I took the Falcons plus 1.5. Steve's on the other side with the Colts at minus 1.5. We both took the Packers minus 7. We both took the Chiefs. I took the Jets plus 21.5. Steve took the Patriots minus the 21.5. Both looked the under in the Skins-Bears game. We both took the Eagles at minus 4.5. That game is down to 4 from what I can see. Steelers, I like the Steelers on the money line. Steve likes the 49ers minus the 6.5. Both like the Tampa Bay Bucks to ruin Daniel Jones' debut. Ironically, Steve took the Dolphins plus 21.5. I took the Cowboys. It's weird because my team is the Dolphins and Steve's team is the Cowboys, so we inversed on each other on that one.
Right.
Steve took the Arizona Cardinals, which is a dirty word, right? And I took the Panthers plus the points, money line. I think best bet. We can pretty much,
Yeah. We
as
can agree.
Jay Holzinger did on Jeopardy. All it. Bills minus 6.5. We both like that one. We both took the under in the Falcons-Colts game. Both took the Vikings minus 9. That's one of my best bets. I took the coin flip. I landed on the over in the Rams-Browns. Steve wasn't about to go against the penny in that one. Both took Pete Carroll, Clappy, and the Seahawks minus 5. Under in the Packers-Broncos game. I think that could also go in my best bets for the day. Took the Rams minus 3.5. That's one of my best bets. Steve's top play for the day. I took the Titans plus the 3. I think this is one of those games that could be a 1-2 point game either way, either direction. That's why I took the Titans plus the 3. Steve's on the other side with the Chargers. Yep. And we both I like the under in the Raiders-Vikings. That was the penny. I let the penny do that one. Steve took the over. I
like the Minnesota.
I took the St. Louis Cardinals. This is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. Thanks, Steve Monahan, for joining us once again. We'll have Steve back definitely next Sunday, and if we can get him on during the week for our NFL preview, that would be awesome too. Maybe for our college football shows as well. I'll have to see if his schedule allows. But in the meantime, I'll be back every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to like our video. So hit the thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group. Be part of the community. I'm in there every day talking with you guys, answering questions. Not just answering questions, but also getting involved in the discussion. I'm one of the group, right? Anyways, this is Mitch. Steve, thanks for joining us. Have a great day, everyone.
Great Sunday.
I'll see you guys maybe at halftime of the early games.
I'll be coaching.